confuses rape with affection, but I think that we're not taught how to feel affectionate, and we're not taught how to love and accept ourselves. And so sometimes we take that and we try to take something from other people in order to give it to ourselves. Like if I rape you, maybe I'll feel more comfortable in who I am and I can learn to love myself because I've taken something from you.
So they'll take the people who are being oppressed and be like, they'll twist it. No, they were the offender. So that's why it's really easy to be like, oh, well, no, violence wasn't enacted upon this woman or this man, they were asking for it. And like in the first video, violence wasn't enacted against that man, he looked really suspicious. So of course we had to stop him. And also we talked about, I think this is important to bring up, the intersection of race and gender. Because in that first video, he didn't get stopped because he was a male. Like he got stopped specifically because he was a male of color.
Silence is just as violent as violence itself. So how the father was not saying anything that, that inability to see that or acknowledge it as true or as fact, ignore it is just as violent as the act of the person who's raped.
All the hands in the world went up. I got about, okay.
They're up right now, we're going to take those.
That reminded me, there was a case in Italy, I don't know the details, but there's a case in Italy of a young girl who got raped, and she went to trial with it, and they said that the guy was not guilty because they said her pants were too tight for him to get off himself. She must have helped him get it off. And so I do a lot of activism with this stuff. So at my school during Rape Awareness Month, we passed out the purple ribbons and started telling people about it. And nobody asks to get raped. How you gonna tell someone how not to get raped? They're the victim. I mean, there's no,
Think about rape as if it's so black and white. What about the gray area? What about when you've gotten to know a person past the initial meeting? It's not just someone walking up to me and raping me. What if it's someone that you've known? What if it's someone that you've invited in? What if it's someone that you've started, like, maybe you did want to go somewhere with it and they took it too far, but if you say something, it's like, well, you clearly showed that you wanted it.
Whenever you're sexually assaulted, it's not only just sexual, but it's physical, it's mental, it's emotional, it's spiritual. Every aspect, every feeling, everything that makes you you is violated in that moment. It's not just sex. It's your entire way of life that is violated. And she mentioned the part of the poem where it's like, when will it end? Haha, it doesn't. And the thing is, like, people walk around, male and female, and they're raped. And some people, they're raped daily within their family by their even boyfriends and girlfriends, husbands, wives. Like, you can still be married and get raped. Because I think people's definition of rape, people don't really know what rape is. Therefore, when it happens, they don't realize that it's happening to them. And she also mentioned she said she was in, can I share that? What happened in your room? Oh, okay. She mentioned that she was, last night she was literally talking with some people, and a guy came in, and a girl got up, and he said, you can keep your seat because you're a lady. She was offended. And I feel like, just with the whole gender thing, I feel like there's a confusion or a mix-up or a disagreement with what we classify ourselves as, what society thinks we should classify ourselves as, and quite possibly what our faith classifies us as. Because I'm Christian, and in the Bible, I'm not gonna quote it word for word, but it says that a woman should be, for lack of a better word, submissive to her husband. And the thing is, I feel like personally for me, it's a 50-50 thing. If I'm being loving and nurturing to you, then you should also be loving and nurturing to me back. You don't actually have to say, I love you 50 times for you to say it one time. So I feel like it's all what you believe and how you portray yourself as.
Being trans, I can say that I understand, like sometimes now it's tough. Transitioning isn't just a physical and mental thing, it's a social thing as well. So the fact that I grew up as a little girl and I'm now a male, if I hang out with some of my guy friends, talk about women a certain way,
Yeah,
had to leave me in an uncomfortable position. You totally understood what you were actually doing, you know? And, because I mean, I used to walk down the street, I know what it's like to get hard at. And it's awkward as hell, and it's just, I mean, it's not right for anybody, you know? And so now that I'm male, when they say these things, I just, like, I try to explain to them, you know, imagine this happening to you and you feeling this way. That's exactly what you're doing to her, you know? So it's tough, but like, there's a way to weave shit through, you know?